Hey everybody, how's it going? So it is Tuesday, October the 11th. I just released that Harley Benton EX video this morning, and I spent most of the day just reading your comments and questions because that video blew up like I was not expecting. Damn! Thank you everybody for watching that video. That's a pretty clear message to me what kind of content you really want to see on the show. You guys want to see affordable, awesome guitars that haven't been sent to me. There's no question about it. Yeah, speaking of that, next week we're going to be taking a look at this. This is a new company from Poland called Rough Guitars, and they build guitars out of something called Rafane. And we'll get a look at that next week, but damn, all I can say is cool guitar. You guys really should watch that one next week. Because I'm all about supporting small shops and small luthiers and just seeing what kind of awesome stuff people can build. But that's next week. Now, the reason I'm making this video is because a bunch of you eagle-eyed viewers spotted something where you were thinking maybe the pickups were out of order. This is supposed to be an EMG 81 and 60 set. And apparently the silver pickup right here is supposed to be the 81. And this colored one down here is supposed to be the 60. I wanted to change the strings out on this guitar anyway, so I thought, okay, you know what? Let's pull the strings off, take the pickup out, and see what's up there. And wouldn't you know it, what's in the neck position? Yeah, the EMG 81. That's the pickup that's supposed to be in the bridge. So first of all, I'd like to thank the viewers who made those comments. I really appreciate that, guys, because you caught something I didn't, and that's freaking awesome. Thanks so much for that. And what that means is, Tobin, you need to fucking pay attention to the guitars you're shipping out. What the actual fuck? Okay, once again, I have to call this dude out here, guy, girl, whoever you are. Yeah, you were not paying attention when you checked this guitar over. Not only did you not catch the truss rod being completely loose, you forgot to look at the pickups to see that they were placed in the right spot. Now that, in my eyes, is a complete and total failure in terms of inspecting quality. Not only a failure for Toman, who does their own in-house inspection before they ship worldwide. I've seen it. I've met people who do that, and generally they do a pretty fucking good job. That's also a failure at the factory level for putting the wrong pickup in the wrong spot. So, to all you guys who caught that, thank you so much. I'm absolutely grateful for that. And for Toman, fucking pay attention! Now, I did get an awful lot of feedback on this video, and this is great. And I thought I'd read off a few of these where I thought I could maybe address a few different issues. All right, now one of the questions I did get was, Glenn, you know, you didn't call the guy out at Gibson because you were afraid he was going to lose his job. Aren't you worried about the same thing in Germany? I'm like, no, because Germany has labor protection laws. So I know the person who let this through the factory isn't going to lose their job over this. They're probably going to get reamed out a little bit and be told to do their job better, which is absolutely fine. I don't want to see anybody get fired for the job. And that's the benefit of having not at-will employment like you guys do in the US. Now, to all my American friends who might be putting up with a dickhead boss, just remember this. If you do have at-will employment, that means you can leave whenever the fuck you want to. So if you have another job lined up, your boss is being an asshole to you, all he says, fuck you, I'm gonna go work somewhere else. The law of unintended consequences. You gotta love it.
Bro seemed like the nicest YouTuber. After a third into the video, he was just a menace.
Hey, I'm just trying to look out for the consumer here. If the manufacturers don't like it, I don't know. Fucking pay closer attention.
Stopped watching and unsubscribed when you inferred pickups don't actually matter.
Well, Phoebe, thanks so much for writing in. I'm glad you brought that up because I did say in that video, I don't know if pickups actually matter. And let me explain that a little bit further. See, I went to Guitar Summit in Mannheim and I was trying out this one guitar where you could drop the pickups in and out of the guitar, and I'm doing that. I tried like 6 or 7 different pickups, and I'm like, I'm not hearing any major differences here. Maybe one was a little louder than the next, but I wasn't hearing much difference in tone. But then again, I was on headphones, not on a proper studio system where I could actually analyze what's going on, so there might have been that. But that was also the quietest guitar show I've gone to because no amps were allowed on the floor. Everybody had to play by headphones. It was great. 3 days into a guitar show, and I still had a voice left. Guitar Summit in Mannheim, Germany. It is truly awesome. Now, I wanted to change strings out on this guitar, but I did keep the originals. So tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to swap the pickups around. I'm going to put the 81 in the bridge and the 60 in the neck like they're supposed to be. and I'm going to roll the original clips and then the clips with me playing in the new positions. The great thing is I haven't changed anything in my recording setup. I've still got the template here. I've still got the Angle Fireball 100 completely untouched, and all my mics are in the same positions because I just did this video the other day. So I've still got all that. So we'll actually be able to do a real back-to-back test and see if there is any kind of quantifiable difference in tone. Because honestly, I really don't know, because I've swapped pickups before, but I've never actually done the back-to-back thing where I go, can we really hear something going on here or not? Because that entails work, and let's face it, as guitar players, we're fucking lazy. We don't want to be bothered. We'd rather read about something online from somebody else's opinion than actually do the work ourselves and do a test. Anyway, let's change these pickups around, and yeah, that's the great thing is I have to change the collars out too, because they're for different parts of the body. Believe me, I made that mistake years ago, but still, it's good. So it's going to take a few minutes. So thanks, Toman, and thanks, crew in Indonesia who put this together. I really do appreciate that. You just added a whole bunch of work to me. Again, if I was a kid who bought this guitar, I'd be more than a little bit pissed off. For me, you know what? I get a video out of it, so I'm not completely angry about it. But, the kids at home who might be wanting to buy these, make sure your silver one's on the bridge. Well, we're going to verify that in a couple minutes here and see if there is any kind of real tonal difference. Let's get to it. Okay, so I've got the pickups rearranged into the correct order, and I've got the original strings back on, just so we can do a real quick back-to-back tone test to hear if there actually is a shift or not. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play the same riffs in yesterday's video, and I thought we'd start off with this one.
Painkiller is Glenn's Wonderwall. Not complaining.
Oh, thanks, dude. Yeah, let's see what this new pickup sounds like in comparison to the old one. Wow. What a massive, shocking difference in tone. It's unbelievable. Hey kids, why don't you spend your hard-earned money on brand new pickups? Because apparently that's going to make a gigantic difference in your tone. It certainly did in this case, didn't it? Again, wow, I am just completely floored. What a massive difference in sound. It's clearly unbelievable, the massive differences in tone we're getting. Wow, the 81 and the 60 sound so different from each other. It's astounding. Now cue all the passive pickup guys who are just typing it. Well, you got to try passive to passive, man, and see how that changes. I did that in Mannheim, and I was not impressed. Now, when I initially put the strings back on and first turned up the guitar, I was like, wow, this sounds so beefy. And then I realized I had the treble knob down all the way. Now, of course, we just swapped out the 81 and the 60 into different positions. I'm hearing maybe the slightest difference in tone, but I mean slight. I mean like it might be about that big. Nothing you couldn't accommodate for on your amp's control panel just by maybe changing the filtering ever so slightly, maybe a little bit of treble, maybe not. And I'm like, this all goes back to what KK Downing said, even the beginning of the 90s. It's like, it really doesn't matter which guitar you're playing. One might be just a little bit brighter than the next one. And he was absolutely fucking right. That 30 years later, that still rings true. So I'm going to come back at Tobin and go, okay, you know what? You don't have to flay the Inspector. Getting the pickups the wrong way around really didn't make that much of a difference in tone. It certainly wasn't the massive kind of difference that we've been led to believe anyway. Oh, pickups are going to improve your tone. No, that's absolutely not fucking true. One thing pickups can do, though, is clean up your signal. I did have a case where I had a Jackson flying via Rhodes V with the Jackson passives, you know, the really cheap ones and whatnot. And anytime I was jamming with a band and whatnot, we were playing full volume. And anytime I'd go to rest, you know, the pickups would just hum in the body. They'd feed back and you couldn't do anything. It just and they were horrible. Put some EMGs in there, that cleaned things right up. So that is one way it did improve my sound. It didn't change my overall tone, but it did change the clarity of the signal I was getting. But that was it. Wasn't like, oh, wow, this massively sounds so much better. Because, you know, again, pickups, as for pickups being EQs, I don't know. Again, I've only demonstrated this, so we've just seen that, you know, the difference between an 81 and a 90 is pretty freaking minuscule, if noticeable at all. Now, of course, I played that painkiller riff without any visual because I want you guys to tell me, with your amazing hearing, of course, which pickup was which. Which was number one, the 81, or was that the 60? Now, I want you out there to tell me which is which. I mean, like, we've all come up on the same stories that pickups are going to massively improve your tone, but that's reading about stuff and not seeing a back-to-back test. I mean, like, I went out of my way to make sure nothing changed in my signal path. The amps didn't get moved, the mics didn't get moved, I didn't touch anything. So I was able to do an actual legit test where the only variable is the pickup. You can write about it all you want, but unless you can prove otherwise, I'm going to call bullshit, at least as far as EMGs are concerned anyway. All right, now one thing that did really catch me by surprise, though, was I did a review on those Maxima gold strings there a few weeks back, and wow, did those ever sound terrible. And those strings surprisingly affected the tone way more than I thought they were going to, far more than changing the pickups around in this guitar did, that's for sure. So I'm kind of curious what would happen if I put my SITs on here. These are the SMG branded SITs. Yeah, they got me on the back. These are 10 to 54s made for down tuning. So I'm going to tune this guitar. We're just going to see back to back if there are any kind of tone changes at all. So last riff with the old strings. Okay, let's swap out the strings. Let's play that riff one more time at the same tuning and see if there's any kind of total shift at all. Okay, yeah, not really noticeable if there is. It might be about that big. So yeah, it's definitely not a case of, you know, when we were trying the Maxima Golds where it was clear that something was wrong immediately. Those things just killed the top end of the guitar sound. This one, if there is a shift, it's so subtle, I really can't tell what's going on. It's certainly not going to make massive differences in your tone, like changing out your speakers would, or moving the microphone, or something like that. You know, the things that actually affect your recorded tone. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, before we wrap it up here, I thought I'd answer a little bit of Q&A here just to have a little bit of fun because I want you guys to know, yes, I do read your comments. I've been reading them all day and they've been absolutely amazing. So here, check this out.
Glenn, had you considered that the truss rod being loose was on purpose? They're setting these boxes across the ocean, and metal boxes are not exactly next door. Wood and metal does expand and contracts with temperature changes, and the overall shock of the boxes also affects them. Or maybe it's just because I live in the Caribbean and assume all instruments in that condition need a proper setup afterward.
Well, here's the thing. I've been to Toman and I've seen how they do things. Yes, they do ship everything in great big boxes into Toman, and Toman does the setups. And yeah, I've had a lot of Harley Bentons come in on the show, and this is the first one I've ever seen where the truss rod was loose. Most of them come, you know, the truss rod at least halfway adjusted. You know, you might need to make a crank here or there, but nothing like what I got here. Somebody clearly wasn't paying attention. And just for the record, that someone was this guy right here. Next time, wake the fuck up, buddy!
What reviewers of this level do not notice is that the guitar is almost hollow. Tone does not mention that. So instead of promise full mahogany body, you get semi-hollow. That's why the tone is so thin. A top-heavy Explorer, come on.
What viewers of this level don't realize is that tone win is not a thing, you dumb motherfucker! Seriously, I mean, like, I did the video last year, we shot out a couple different guitars, made exactly the same with different kinds of wood. The change was, like, non-existent. And then for an encore, Jim Lill went and built a guitar without a fucking body. Sounded exactly the same as his other fucking telly. So clearly, yeah, it's not the body. Oh, it's not made of fucking full mahogany. Oh, dude, really? That's what you're worried about. Come on. I'd like to know what you're basing your hypothesis on. Did you actually have somebody cut one of these guitars up and see if it's chambered or not? Or did you just pull that fact out of your ass?
Color fucking fingerprint magnet.
Oh, dude, you are not kidding. I just spent like 20 minutes trying to clean this thing, and as soon as you play it, it's just fingerprints everywhere yet again. So yeah, there is that to look forward to. Definitely recommend Toman maybe includes a cleaning cloth with these kind of guitars from now on, or better yet, just, you know, keep the white in stock. I really wanted to get the white version of this, and it's completely out of stock. And I think it was like, 6 to 8 week waiting period or something like that. And gee, I can't understand why.
At this price point and what was paid in shipping costs, you might as well have gone Epiphone.
Jason! Dude, I literally looked up the cost of an Epiphone compared to what this was and showed the price difference. Can I get a replay, please? Your all-in price, if you're buying in the States, is $391. Now, if you get an Epiphone at Sweetwater, that's going to cost you $649, and then you might have to pay tax on top of that as well. I can't guarantee that. Depends on what state you're living in. So you're looking at just an all-in cost here, if you're in the US, a $258 savings. Dude, allow me to apologize for not making that fucking clear enough for you. Apparently next time I'm gonna have to write it out in fingerprints so your fucking vast intellect can pick that up. Fuck's sakes. You guys wonder why I scream about musicians. People, if you're running a home studio, Jason B, that's the kind of guy who's gonna come into your studio and expect of you to make him sound professional. Have fun.
Should I get one of these instead of buying pickups and getting my Epiphone Goth Explorer set back up?
No, you should not. I think you should take whatever guitar you've had and get it set up exactly how you want. I wouldn't even worry about new pickups. I mean, like, unless it's feeding back horrifically, don't bother with new pickups. If you are, EMGs will do the trick, Fishmans will do the trick. Absolutely no problem whatsoever. But if you like your guitar, you don't have to go out and get a new one just because I did a demo. I get it. Gearlust is a thing. Gearlust is fun. The whole point of this video was to try and offer some value out there for the kids who might be wondering, hey, if I buy a Harley Benton, am I actually going to get something halfway decent? And, it was halfway decent. It wasn't fantastic. It's definitely not what's in this case here, which you guys will see next week. This guitar is really something. But for under $400, I'm not expecting absolute perfection. I would expect that the pickups are put in the right position, even though it's not really, the biggest deal in the universe, as we just demonstrated. Still, a little attention to detail would go a long way. That and, at least putting some pressure on the neck. It doesn't have to flop around. That and tie down the fucking truss rod adjuster. That'd be really nice too. But I don't think there's anything wrong with your Epiphone Goth whatsoever. I'm sure it's an absolutely fine instrument. Yeah, take it to your local shop, get it set up, throw some new strings on it, and see what you like. And if you do have some issues with noise, maybe then consider getting new pickups. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now, for everybody who got mad at me for daring to suggest that pickups really don't make that much of a difference, please watch this video here where we bought the worst cabinet imaginable and we upgraded it with some good speakers from Celestion. We put in some Neil Creambacks and it blew our minds as to the massive shift in tone we got. Check that video out right here.